Hey folks, it's Ardwulf. Welcome. We have an unboxing video today, and it is a new item from, well, sort of new item from Compass Games. This is Vance von Bory's Decision at Kasserine, Rommel's Last Chance. This is, of course, a pretty classic design from 1983 that has been re-released now by Compass Games as part of their Designer Signature series. So let us open her up and see what we get. So this is, I think, one of the first well, not really post, but pandemic releases from Compass. There's a couple other things coming down the pipeline as well. I feel like the shrink wrap was a little bit loose, but I feel like this is a thicker box stock than I have seen from Compass in the past. We got two D6s. These are what I would consider, I mean, they're not great dice, but who cares? They're dice. Everybody's got plenty of dice. All right, so the contents of the box. We have two maps. Let's take a look at the maps first. Map art on this thing is, doesn't say, graphic design by Ilya Kudryashov. So it's possible that that's the map art. I mean, this is like North Africa desert stuff. This would be 1942. So we're not necessarily going to get a stunning array of color. Nevertheless, I see oversized hexes, which is potentially good, but we'll look at the counters. The counters are a little bit oversized too, if I'm not mistaken. And good use of color, I think. That's something that Compass has not always been great at, but I see no problems with this map at all. It looks very readable. There are, of course, two maps. These appear to be standard size wargame maps, and as is the case with at least a lot of the Designer Signature series, they've kind of upscaled the components a little bit to account for the aging eyes and escalating vision prescriptions of older wargamers. So maps look nice. These are on what I would consider to be a fairly unremarkable map stock, but it's reasonably heavy, and it's not that super shiny, super crispy stuff that we've seen from Compass in the past that often results in a lot of wear where the creases are. Although along this crease right here, I think we can, I don't know if you can see that on the map, I think we can see that there is in fact some wear just from the box in there. So I think that's been a persistent print quality issue for Compass, is whatever stock or print process they're using. Let's take a look at the player aids. Player aids are on nice thick stock. Here's an expanded sequence of play, for example. Here is a basic sequence of play, along with a unit ID chart. Pretty big print. I like that. You know, I always was one of those guys who was always say, "Oh yeah, I don't care if the print's real tiny. I can read it." Well, that's a lot less true now than it used to be. Here's our TEC. Along with our CRTs, combat results tables. There are two here. There's a mobile combat results table and an assault combat results table. Plus there is a retreat and combat evasion table. And we have scenario setup cards. I always like to see this kind of thing. You know, some games can't really accommodate these things for reasons of size. Here we have another TEC and CRT card and another sequence of play and unit ID card. Plus we have three setup cards. So scenarios 1, 2, and 3, and then on the backs we have scenarios 2 and 3. So okay, so scenario 1, part of scenario 2 on the back. Scenario 3, part of scenario 2 on the back. Scenario 2, part of scenario 3 on the back. So these were laid out sensibly as well. The counters look, well, let's look at the actual counters. The time has come for that. So we have three counter sheets on a white core stock that feels fun. So these are a little bit bowed, which is something I see in counter sheets from various companies from time to time. I've seen them be a lot worse than this and come out fine once they're punched, so this is not a problem. very, well, not very, but relatively glossy. That's going to probably result in some glare issues, but they look good, and the print is nice and big and easy to read, even the unit IDs. These look like 5/8 inch counters to me, rather than 9/16 or 1/2. And again, I'm cool with that. Registration looks fine. The stock is not super thick, but it also doesn't feel, in my hands right now anyway, doesn't feel particularly flimsy. So, and of course, we've got Americans, we've got what I assume are British, doesn't say, yes, British right here, and French right here. Counter sheet 2, if I didn't say this, there's 3 counter sheets. The Italians are in this lurid green, and these are your Germans, more US, some more British. Are these Canadians? Okay, so British are in 2 different colors. Presumably, even on the same counter sheet, which that might mean something, I don't know. We get some more Germans here. And on the 3rd sheet, we've got a few units, but mostly markers. And again, the counters are nice. I like the counter designs. They're nice and clean. These will be easy to read. Like I said, they don't feel super thick. It feels almost like, looking at it, I can't tell that this is actually the case, but sheet 3 somehow feels a little thinner to me. Looking at it, I cannot see that distinction, so I'm probably just nuts. And then we have the rule book. So what we have here is a matte finish, full color, 40-page rule book with relatively large print, not super hard, so not super large. Looks like we have a good amount of illustrations. Not lavishly illustrated, but there appears to be a sufficient amount of illustration in here. So it looks pretty good to me. It looks like physically, components-wise, other than maybe some concerns about map wear along the creases, I'm pretty happy with the component quality. The graphic design of the components, I think, is very good. And again, that's something that, not certainly uniquely to Compass, is something that various games have had trouble with in the past, and I can think of a couple of examples from Compass, but not just Compass, right? I can think of at least a couple of GMT games that have had some issues with the graphic design choices, but I do not identify any of those problems here. So, Decision at Kasserine, Rommel's Last Chance reprint of the Vance von Voorhis game from 1983. Check it out. This is a new release from Compass Games that just arrived. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. Please give the video a thumbs up and leave me any comments or questions in the comments below. And of course, check out the Patreon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Happy wargaming.